Hey, it's been a little while. A lot has happened since we last saw each other. Quick update. Wrote a bunch of songs. Our new puppy grew from this little to this little and became a citizen enough to vote. And I got one of these. Broke one of these and then got another one of these. So we're off to a good start this year. No matter how bad your 2020 was, I want you to let me know down in the comments below at least one good thing, one blessing that happened to you last year. It could be music related, or it could just be about anything. I'll post mine below as well. If you're new here, consider subscribing if you want to follow my music creation journey and some fun projects that are going on in my home studio. If you clicked on this video, then you most likely already know what this is. So are these DIY kits worth getting, even if there are similar pre-manufactured versions that are sometimes less expensive than these kits? Can they be a useful tool in your music production process, or are they just a novelty? If you're like me, then you like having a certain level of control over your environment. You challenge things around you and are consistently striving to improve things that others may take for granted. Musicians do this all the time. We tinker around with tonal adjustments until we're happy with the sound. Taking that to another level, we may even take apart pedals and amps to see what's going on under the hood and make our adjustments there. With any pre-manufactured gear, you would have to take apart what someone already put together and risk voiding the warranty. Hang on. I think Paisley's got to go to the bathroom. So, as I was saying, with any pre-manufactured gear, you would have to take apart what someone already put together and risk voiding the warranty to do the work that you want to do. But with a pedal kit, since you're building it from the ground up, you get more acquainted with the design and therefore have better knowledge of the adjustments you want to make, and you can build them into your assembly as you go. When I bought this pedal, I wasn't thinking of changing anything. I simply wanted to know if it sounded good, which is probably the same thing that you're thinking. But during the journey of building it, one of the germanium diodes broke. And if you're aware, these diodes are what give its pedal its sound. As Bill himself said, these diodes are the most important factor in how the circuit sounds when it's being used to create distortion. He goes on to say that he found this particular diode was best, but there were differences in manufacturing over the years that made different pedals with the same exact circuit sound very different. Even the same make and model diode could sound very different. So, after the brief moment of extreme disappointment, I realized that this was a perfect opportunity to play around with the circuit design. But first, I have to go dig up my secret stash. I've been collecting some germanium transistors over the years with plans to build some copies of some classic fuzz pedals, like the original fuzz face that Jimmy used. Similar to how this diode is very unique to the Klon sound, these germanium transistors are also very important to the classic fuzz sound. Also, their sensitivity to the environment, such as temperature changes, humidity, etc., can change the way that they react. They can literally sound different every time you plug it in. Now, these are not diodes, they're transistors, but what you may not know is that you can use transistors to act like diodes when wired a certain way. I'm not going to get into the science behind it, but in short, transistors have 3 leads, and there are 2 different types, PNP and NPN. The type will determine how the 3 leads interact with each other. Generally speaking, transistors used in fuzz pedals are PNP. I'll put up some close-up pictures of the ones I have here. In order to make them act like diodes, we're going to connect the collector and base leads together to allow current to flow in one direction. Before you jump into doing this kind of thing yourself, understand that using certain components in ways that they were not originally designed for could result in some dangerous outcomes. But since all of these components are trusted in 9-volt pedal circuits, this is very low risk. If you're interested in trying this yourself, I'll link some helpful resources in the description below. So what I've done here is I've soldered wire leads to the PCB where each diode is meant to attach, and we'll connect these to a breadboard where we can swap out the different diodes much easier than taking them in and out of the PCB. I use scrap wire, so they're a little shorter than what I would have liked, but this will still work. I'm not going to bother measuring the exact current gain of each of these transistors because I don't think that's really going to tell us more than what we can already hear with our ears. Even though my multimeter has an HFE function, which is used to measure gain, it isn't accurate for germanium components because it doesn't account for any leakage current. The method to measure gain accurately is more work than benefit it provides for this video. But if there's an interest in diving deeper into this kind of stuff, let me know in the comments below and maybe I'll make another video about it. Also, as I was handling this on camera, the LED light went out. It still works perfectly fine. It's not going to affect the tone. I just hope that's not a sign of some issue on the inside I'm not aware of. When I plug this in, I'm going to play my clean tone first, click the pedal on, and it will be on for the rest of the video, even though the LED is not on. Luckily, it's pretty easy to tell sonically when it's on and off. For the test, the signal will be completely dry. After this video, if you want to know more about my signal chain, click my card here. Both the treble and output knobs are going to remain in the same position throughout the entire comparison. And I'll play through all the diodes with the gain knob set first to 9 o'clock, then to 12 o'clock, then 3, and then all the way on. So here's my clean tone. And now I'm turning the pedal on. There were a lot of clips. I'm not going to make you listen to all of them, as most of them sound very similar anyway. I played a lot more chords and licks up and down the neck than what you listened to in this video. I don't believe YouTube videos are the best medium to do sound comparisons, mostly because of how videos are compressed and how people usually listen through phone speakers. So I thought that these chords displayed the greatest harmonic differences in the sound. You can hear the different harmonics if you listen closely. If you want to hear samples of other sounds I've got with this pedal, go ahead and check out the song towards the beginning of the video again. I use sounds from different components for each part. Comment below which part you think was which component. I'd be interested to see if you can figure it out. It's no surprise that the original diodes sounded the best. It was the most balanced and had what I thought to be the most usable tone space throughout the entire gain adjustment. That is to say that it was really hard to make these diodes sound bad. And that just goes to show you that Bill really did get it right by choosing this one and designing the circuit around it. The silicone diode, which if you build or modify amps or pedals, then you know that this is just a run-of-the-mill general purpose diode. It's usually used in power sections for rectification. I wasn't expecting this to sound that great, but actually got it to sound pretty good on some of the lower gain settings. As the only silicone component, we can definitely hear a little more brightness, less harmonic content, and overall more top end. It was a valuable contrast to the warmer germanium components. For the transistors, I can definitely tell why these work so well in fuzz pedals. Turning the gain past 12 on any of these 5 germanium transistors gives us those distinct fuzz tones, that super compressed, lower fidelity sound as if your speaker cone is flapping in the Woodstock wind. The OC74 had the lowest gain and the cleanest top end. Then the AC187 had a crunchy low end but seems to clean up in the higher frequencies. The AC128 and the 2SB33 seem to have the darkest gain. Not just the darkest tone overall, but the distortion or the higher order harmonics were also very dark. And lastly, the OCP70, the one that looks like an LED, seemed most like a stray fuzz pedal. It's the most compressed and had the muddiest sound. Again, since the circuit was not optimized for these other components, obviously it's not showcasing their true characteristics. And this is not a knock on Bill's circuit design at all. He clearly nailed it. So, who is this pedal for? Well, if you're thinking about or planning on testing a lot of pedal modifications, then I think the kit is the way to go. Obviously, you can mod any pedal, but this gives you an inexpensive platform to work on where mistakes won't really set you back that far. I think this makes a great tool for learning about guitar pedals. If you are strictly going for sound and an original Klon is out of reach for you, much like it is for me, then I recommend you look at other pedals that are based on the Klon circuit. This kit pedal sounds decent, but depending on your experience level, I think you're better off buying a manufactured clone, such as the Soul Food, Tumnus, or Archer, in order to have the best reliability and sound quality. So, I want to hear your thoughts down in the comments. Did you like any of these sounds I got from these other components? How about this pedal kit? Is this a tool or just a toy? I'm excited to read your responses, and don't forget to subscribe to follow this and other projects in my home studio. Thanks for watching. Leave it. No. No. Leave it.